moniker is so long.
I'm just waiting for this to start kind of recording, man. It'll be a couple of seconds, hopefully. Okay.
That's better. Are we live?
Yeah, man. I'm just waiting for it to pop up on my screen. I think we are.
It says recording the call.
Yeah, that's came up. Sorry about the technical issues for people. The man himself, Alex, gets two episodes because he's that good. That means you need to doubly go check him out, man. Get your views up, buy your merch, whatever. So, what were we talking about again? Characters in wrestling.
Yeah, characters in wrestling. Like
They're very
like for me, like I have custom theme music. It's on Spotify, Pandora, iTunes. It's on pretty much all the streaming platforms you can find for music. But like that gets me my song gets me over before I even step out the curtain. It has my it has my name, it has my gimmick. The lyrics are cool. The beat is catchy. The lyrics are catchy. That gets me over before people even see me. And like people focus so much on buying. Oh, I gotta have custom gear or custom merchandise or custom this, custom that. It's like you should have everybody in indie wrestling should have their own music. It shouldn't be you using music from YouTube or you using your favorite song. It should be you having music made that goes with your character, that portrays your character, how your character, however you want your character to be portrayed, however the character needs to be portrayed. But that's going to do you more justice than having custom gear. I don't care about your gear being custom. I don't. I mean, sometimes the gear looks really cool, but I don't think people are going to be like. I don't think people are like, oh, that guy had really cool gear. Let me go follow him, or let me go check out something of his.
Yeah,
but
man.
Like music, how you carry yourself in the ring, your confidence, those things are the things that people are like, I like this guy.
Man, people definitely go check out your theme song because it's really cool. But I get like if you look at Stone Cold Steve Austin, black tights, bald man, like nothing would separate him apart. But that glass shattering coming out, people just went wild. Which, like you said, when I was younger as well, that kind of pyro, the theme music, the kind of walkout and stuff like that is what really grabbed my attention at that really young age. Especially, I was young when Austin was starting to get to his peak, which was insane to watch. And anytime you heard that glass broke, you know something insane was going to happen. So you just couldn't wait to see it because there was a whole period when it was like nearly a year and a half when he never really wrestled. He was just like coming out with like milk trucks and beer trucks, I think it was, or whatever it was. I always remember that point and being like, this guy never wrestles. He's just here always just like ruining the McMahon's day.
He's here to raise hell and leave, and that's what he did.
Yeah, man, it was brilliant. I think that's probably one of the most over people in wrestling's history. But it kind of shows you don't even need like a good like Stone Cold. You can argue he was terrible in ring for some people. He was okay in rings forever, but he's not like a great like a Ric Flair or somebody in the ring. Like he knows what he's good at. He knows how to do it, but he knows the characters what really sold what he done, and that's what like we're saying in part one for people who haven't seen it so far. Go check it out. The character is everything in wrestling, and I think that's what people lost a little bit along the way.
Yeah, because people just want to like flip and like. Don't get me wrong. Some of the flips and some of the stuff like that, it's really cool. It's really cool to see like a human being like pulling this off, like they're like a Power Ranger or something like that. But again, if the character isn't there, like why why should I care? Um, I remember, I can't remember who it was, but they were telling us a story about Bailey. Um, like they were all at a show, and she was backstage, and she was watching a match, and these guys were doing all of this stuff, and she just kept yelling like, "But who are you? Tell me who you are. Tell me who you are, because you can do all these moves. Anybody can do these moves or most of these moves. But if you don't tell the crowd or tell these people who you are, it doesn't mean anything. It can be as simple as I'm Alex Kane, I'm the suplex assassin. It can be that simple, or it could be like a certain movement or a certain taunt, or even a certain look that you give or whatever that tells me who you are and why you're here.
100%, man. I think that nuance part of wrestling as well, like just the look, the move, that kind of stuff, has been lost along the way when they started adding in, like you said, the flips and stuff look cool because I can't do any of them. But I think it's so cool when you do see them. But like you said, if they're not telling you who they are or why they're doing this, like what's the benefit of it? If you're just running around the ring, flipping around, nobody really cares. Nobody really is going to be like, that was a great flip that I seen. They'll just remember you as a high flyer for jumping around the ring. Nothing really more than that, which to kind of break that kind of wrestling like higher wall to get WWE and stuff like that, you kind of need to tell people who you are because that's what they look for. So talking about
Yes.
WWE, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Where do you see yourself in the wrestling world in 10 years? Do you see yourself in WWE, AEW, NXT, World Champion? Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Definitely a world champion. I don't really. I mean, WWE or AEW would be awesome, um, but like I don't have like a, I guess like a undying loyalty to either one, like some people do. I just want to go. I just want to wrestle. I want to make my living off of this business, support my family with this business, do what I love, and be as much of myself as possible. Um, and just live the dream. So it could be WWE, it could be AEW, it could be Impact, it could be ROH, it could be Ring of Honor, it could be New Japan. I just want to be the best. That's what I want. That's what I want to be. I want to be the best.
And that's really cool to hear as well. Just like you just got a goal, you want to make a living off it, and you just want to be the best, which is a really cool kind of different aspect to hear. Most people are like, I want to be in WWE, I want to be in AEW, stuff like that. But I think it's a cool kind of fresh approach to wrestling as well. We had a couple of guys on it from the kind of UK wrestling scene, and they've got the exact same approach. They're like, if we can make a living just traveling around the UK or going to like NXT UK, whatever, just somewhere kind of local, still make a living, support their family, they're happy with that. They don't care if they go to Japan or America or wherever. I think it's just such a kind of fresh, positive feeling kind of coming across wrestling, which is on the flip side, sometimes if you look at Twitter, you can just get
Uh-huh.
all the negativity on Twitter from wrestling. If you've ever checked, like after an AEW show or something like, you'll just get a lot of negativity,
Oh
which is
my God. Like this right now is like the best time in wrestling. It's like having WWF and WCW all over again. Not saying AEW is WCW. Not saying that at all. No, I mean zero disrespect, but it is. It's having two major brands. AEW is still on their come up, but they're going to be a major brand in the next couple years. And to have WWE and AEW, you have kind of two different flavors of wrestling or two different flavors of production. AEW does not look anything like WWE. WWE looks nothing like AEW. You have different characters, different superstars on AEW than you would have in WWE. So you have instead of everybody being so like gang warish when it comes to WWE and AEW, if people would just enjoy the wrestling that you have, this is a wrestling renaissance, I think. And even outside of the major company, there's so many independent companies. There's Impact, there's ROH, there's MLW, there's so much wrestling out there that you can find something you like without bashing somebody. Now, criticizing someone's product, like, that comes with the territory of having a publicly traded company or a global company. Like, people are going to criticize, the product. But I wish people would you can criticize the product without shitting on the performer. You don't have to shit on the performer or whatever. Like, everybody makes mistakes. It's gonna happen. As long as they cover it up, and even if they don't cover it up, I mean, it's show business. It happens. Just like, have fun with it. Like, when the whole Nia Jax my whole thing happened, I feel like that was one of those moments where either it was something that they put together previously, or if it was one of those things where it just happened in the moment. But either way, it was hilarious. But some people took it too far and started, like, bashing her and making fun of her. I'm like, she gave you this funny moment, and you're going to make fun of her for it. Get out of here. Or people will see something Nia Jax does. Oh, that was unsafe. And then you have all of these wrestlers coming out the woodwork like, no, that was definitely safe. Like, you're not lifting somebody up a few feet in the air or whatever and throwing them down the ground. They're not gonna land gracefully. You can tuck your chin as much as you want to, but you're not gonna always land gracefully. But it was safe. So I wish people would stop bashing performers. Don't even bash the company, but you can criticize it. You criticize movies all the time. You criticize movie making companies all the time, but you don't do it in a malicious way. You're just like, yo, I don't like this. Well, and also, if you don't like it, then don't watch it. Don't watch it. There's something for you out. There's a flavor for you out here for every single person who likes wrestling. And if there's not, you'll have to adopt a new flavor. But there's something out here for all of us. Find what you like and watch it. Find what you like and watch it. Because at the end of the day, WWE is going to do what makes them money, and they should, because they've been doing it for this freaking long, and they've been successful at it every single time. Vince knows more about wrestling than anybody on this planet will ever know about wrestling. The man is a wrestling genius. You may not get what you want right here. You may not get what you want right here, but he gonna get it to you. He gonna get it to you a year, 2, 3 years down the line. But look at Bobby Lashley right now. We thought, oh, Bobby Lashley should have been champion when he returned. He should have fought Brock Lesnar and all this other stuff. And everyone was like, yo, we need this match. And the way that when he was doing this stuff with Leo, like, oh man, this is they're killing Bobby. They're doing all this. I'm like, no, they're not killing Bobby. They're showing that Bobby's still human. They're showing that Bobby can have some fun. They're adding a new dimension to his character. So he's just not this large black man with muscles who hurts people or whatever. This man can have some fun. Even the weird cuckold thing that he did with Lana, that added another dimension to his character. So now that he's WWE champion, they have literally they've elevated his character, elevated his stock to the point where now he's WWE champion, and you can't deny that he should be WWE champion. I think viewership for Raw has been up since he's been champion. Or is it SmackDown? No, it's Raw. Never mind. Don't be stupid, Daniel. Yeah, it's up. Viewership is up. He is the guy now. He is the guy, and now even Bobby's like, oh, I mean, the Brock match could happen. That could be cool, but now he feels like Drew is the guy to beat, or whatever. Beating Drew is going to do more for him than him beating Brock. That's long-term storytelling. That's long-term booking. That's long-term development at its finest. So again, and I feel like WWE does that better than anybody on any wrestling promotion on this planet, because they've been at it for so long. They get it.
100% agree with you. With like Bobby Lashley. I remember him being the ECW champion in 2007, 2006, 7, which
Yeah, I think
when it was that WWE kind of reboot of ECW, which was terrible. I remember him
yeah.
feuding with Vince McMahon, and I was like, this guy is going to be the next. So I remember getting a magazine, and he was on the front of it with Cena and Undertaker, and I was like, he's going to be the next big guy. And then he just kind of disappeared, and I was like, wonder where he went. Then I've seen him in Impact a couple of years ago. He came back to obviously WWE. They they know what they're doing. WWE makes insane amounts of money. Like when people like me who criticize Raw, which is what we do, I try and keep it positive. You gotta check out any of my reviews. I always try and keep it positive because I know how hard it is to step in that ring as well. And you've got somebody berating you. You're like, oh Jesus, I don't want to hear this. I know that I messed up in the ring, and like you says, you're picking somebody up there, and when they hit the ground, it's you can tuck your chin, you can protect yourself as much as possible. Sometimes you will get hurt. It does mess up. It's really easy because you're just falling back. It's not like you've got this like crash mat that everybody's protected and stuff like that, which
No.
I think so fun when people are like just people that haven't even tried it can sit and like they'll tell you how a match should work, and it's like you're telling me because I've done it.
That's the most annoying thing. You've never been in a professional wrestling match. You've never been in it. You're talking about how easy it is, or how it's this or how it's that, but you've never been in one. You've never been in one. That shit. The first match that I had, that shit is nerve wracking. That is nerve wracking. Even to this day, it's still kind of nerve wracking. Because none of it feels good. None of it feels good. People think, oh, it's a soft ring. It's this, it's that. No, it's not. It hurts. It is extremely painful. It hats off to all of us that we can do this extremely painful stuff, then still get up and do the next thing. Last night. I took a German suplex. It was a fall scene. That's normally the only time I'll ever be suplex, or if it's out of a situation to where like it makes sense. And I took a German suplex off the second rope. Thank God it wasn't the top, but it was just off the second. That was the most painful thing ever. I was rocked. I was rocked. So, and I was still able to get back up and get the job done. So don't sit here and tell me, like, I'm not gonna go and tell a NASCAR driver how to drive his car, even though we all drive cars. You may wrestle with your brothers in the living room, but you can't tell me how to wrestle. I can't tell an NFL player how to fucking play football, and I played football.
But I think that's one thing that people forget as well. Obviously, I'm a little bit different because I've had that experience. I've had matches and stuff like that. But when you get people that like have had no experience with it, and you can kind of tell from they've always seen it from the kind of fan perspective when they're like, oh, they're burying this guy, and it's like, well, in the WWE, literally everybody's a name. Like, there's no like jobbers. So if somebody has to see it at some point.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm cutting you off, but it's the one thing I tell people all the time. Like people will be like, "Oh yeah, this guy in WWE, he's not good at this time, third, or whatever." You cannot be in WWE and not be good at something. You're obviously a good wrestler. Like you're obviously a good wrestler, or you have potential. So if you have a major contract with a company, you don't suck. You can't suck. Just like people in the NFL that are on the bench or they may ride the bench the entire season, but you know what? You know what they are? They're still better than you. Because when you get to that high of a level, there are always gonna be people that are better than you. Some people you can work as hard as you want to work or whatever, but being in that top spot may not be for you. It may not be for you. It may not be, and that's fine. That is fine. Because there has to be, everybody can't be at the top. Because if everybody's at the top, then I think the rest of the card, the rest of the show is boring. Everybody has their place. And like, that doesn't take anything away from you. You can still be the top guy and not be the face of the company. Look at R-Truth. R-Truth is not. He's not WWE champion. He's not World Heavyweight champion. He's a WWE 24/7 champion. He's on TV every single week, being himself, being goofy, having fun, entertaining people, and he's always been over. He's always been over, and people always, oh man, they should do this or they should do that, and R-Truth will tell you like, bro, I'm putting food on the table with my kids, and I'm having the time of my life, and what is he, 50, 51 years old, and he looks better than me.
Man, I think that's one thing.
No,
sorry. It's one thing that people forget is like, if when you're in WWE, it's like being an NFL player or a soccer player, or like you're at the highest level. You are like that. You've been booked for Star Wars by Disney. You know what I mean? WWE is like the biggest wrestling company in the world, and obviously AEW is coming up. They're not there yet. They're still coming up, but like you must be doing something good. And like you said, like R-Truth, or if you look at the Miz, you're not going to. If somebody says to you, you're pretty much going to be on TV every single week, just doing nothing, just speaking. You'll be like, okay, I'll do it. I get to advance my character, go out there, speak, maybe have a wrestling match or two. I'm going to win. And everybody's like, oh, I hate the Miz. Like, he's terrible. He shouldn't be doing this. And it's like, he might not be the best wrestler, but the guy's making a lot more money than most of us are going to make in the rest of our life.
He is one of the greatest heels in this modern era. Like, I totally believe that. Like, when The Miz first came through, I did not think he was going to be what he is now. I had no idea. Coming off the Real World, everybody thought he was a joke. Man, homie put in the work and became a true villain. A true villain. One of the best. You can't say The Miz is terrible. The Miz, like he said on Talking Smack that one time, The Miz doesn't get hurt. He doesn't get hurt. How he doesn't get hurt is beyond me. But he doesn't get hurt. He's there all the time. He's there all the time. So for The Miz to be in the spots that he is in or whatever, yeah, he earned that. He earned that.
Man, 100%. Like, that guy turned up to work every day, even when there wasn't any shows. He's turning up. It shows he's not there. He was there, which I think is insane. Like it's like getting a hard worker, a company person that's going to be in WWE that's just achieved their dream and they're happy to be there. People will still bash them. And I'm like, the guy's literally just living his dream. Like, if it was me and they wanted me in WWE just to go out and take a power bomb off of everybody every night, I would go do it. I don't care. I'm getting paid to go just get a power bomb and go sit in the back. I'm happy to do that. I'll be all right. Which I don't get. People forget that even the Lord of Miz, like you says, he's put in a ton of work. R-Truth, who's like 50, 51, whatever, 52, whatever, and he looks insane. Like, I don't know how he's still so jacked at that age, but like, these guys are still putting in work. They're getting TV time. It might not be like what everybody wants to see is the ideal TV time, so like world champion or something like that. But they're literally getting more time on TV than most people. Or if you look at Twitter, I've been in the ring more times than just anybody. Because R-Truth has been, what, TNA, NWA champion. He was K-Clip in 2000 back in WWE. So I think it's insane to see how much hard work can pay off. But like you say, sometimes you don't need to be. Scott Hall's a notorious person for saying it. He was never the world champion. He was like, I never thought I was a world champion. I always knew I was like mid-card, upper mid-card, which you can be a good mid-carder. You don't need to be the world champion. No, everybody has to be the greatest champion in the world.
Like, some people may disagree with me with this, but like Triple H Triple H obviously world champion, but Triple H was never the guy. He was always there to make the guy look the best that guy can look. Which again is not a knock and it's not a negative. Cesaro's kind of the same way. I hope that we all hope that in a few years, maybe he is the guy, maybe not, or whatever. But again, I don't think Cesaro needs to be that guy or whatever, because he does such a great job making everybody he gets in the ring with look like $1 million. Natalia's the same way. She is the workhorse of the women's division. And she makes everybody that she steps in the ring with better every time, bar none. Chick's amazing. And I feel like one day all these people they will get that super shine that they probably do crave. They probably do want that. I feel like if you don't want it, why are you here? But they're playing their roles right now so well that I have no doubt that they will reach their longer term goal. But that's just me.
No, man, 100% agree with you there. Like, for me, Cesaro is, I like where he is. Like, I don't see him as having like the belt. Like, he puts on great matches. He's always fun to watch. But like, he doesn't need the belt. He's in like the perfect position. He's in. He's over. Everybody likes watching him. He puts on killer matches pretty much on a weekly basis. Given the belt, what's it really going to do? It's not really going to. Like, he's a great talent as it is.
That. I'm glad you brought that up. That is a weird thing because, like, if you're already, because I feel like championships are there to elevate somebody, but if you're already over, like over like Rover, like Natalia and fucking Cesaro are, you don't need it. You really don't. You really don't. And then like seeing like from like the business side of being WWE champion, like before COVID, that shit was fucking wild. Seeing all the media and all the other stuff that they had to do, like, and they had to be up at like 2, 3 a.m. or whatever and get their day started. What? What? And you thought it was just them being champion on TV? No.
Man, I think a lot of people forget like it's a full-time job. And one thing that, just going back to that kind of Nia Jax kind of stuff we were talking about because obviously she's the one that hurt somebody quite recently, and then you've got Shayna who kicked somebody, Ahsoka in the face and stuff like that. But like people are forgetting, like they don't have house shows to do those little mistakes on. Like they're not really, obviously they're training and stuff like that, but they don't have house shows in front of audiences to kind of test things where they normally kind of test new things out before they do it on like a Raw or a SmackDown, which is a little bit of a pain. Obviously, COVID has stopped house shows, but people forget like they went from working 6 days a week to just a Monday Night Raw, which must be a big change for them as well, for a wrestler to just miss out on all this work, all this training time and house shows to just be on Raw, even if they are training in the back and stuff like that. It's quite a reduced schedule.
Yeah, I mean, even if they were working 6 days a week again, still, and something happened, you have to remember it's still a fight. Like it, no matter what the context is, it's still a fight. That's what we are selling to people. We're selling you a fight. So if something goes awry or whatever, it happens. As long as somebody isn't like, oh, I'm gonna try to break your neck or try to end your career or whatever. Nobody should really be mad about it. I don't think or whatever, because they're when they go back to the back, they're gonna talk about it or whatever. They're gonna apologize or whatever. But out in the ring, like if something happens, you can't break character. You got to stay in character.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think people just, what it's like with social media, two sides. You can get the positive side, and then you can also get that terrible negative side, which recently I've been getting because my subs have been going up. People keep calling me bald as if I don't know. But so I'm just like, I know I'm bald. I don't need you to tell me. But finishing off the podcast, man, we've got 3 questions. So we'll start with the first one, which the third one is what everybody always hums and haws it. So, but the first one is, who's your favourite wrestler of all time? Who would you pick as your one guy or girl who's your favourite wrestler of all time?
Shelton Benjamin.
Oh, that's a good one, man. I've never been a big Shelton Benjamin fan myself. I've watched a ton of his matches, and I don't know why, it just never sticks with me. Like, I remember watching the Shawn Michaels one on Raw, and I was like, oh, I like his matches, but I don't know, his character just doesn't stick with me. I don't know why at all.
I think for me with Shelton Benjamin, it's he. I mean, he's a way better amateur wrestler than I'll ever be in my life, but that's not even it. It's the fact that he had the background. He looks like me. He looks and like the way that he moves, the swagger that he has. It's not no. It's not so much his ring work that like women. It's that everything that he does looks effortless. That's what drew me in. Is that everything he does looks effortless. Like he can jump to the top rope, effortless. Like it's just like it's not even a thought in his brain. It's like his body just does it. And I feel like more and more throughout his time with the Hurt Business, more of his personality is coming out. More of, I guess, like that. No, yeah, I can't find the other word, but like more, he's showing more of who he really is, and I enjoy that. But like that gold standard run that he had was my favorite. That was my favorite.
And obviously, we were talking about sets as well. So, what's your favourite event of all time? So that could be what's your kind of favourite set of all time in wrestling?
My favorite set of all time. Ooh. Ah, I really, really liked. I feel like Backlash 2002 was like simple, but the fact that it had the moving arms or whatever, that was really dope. I would have to say, yeah, Backlash 2002.
Mine would have to be just because it's like something that I remember from as a kid. Is King of the Ring 1999 with like the ladders as the entranceway, which was just like all the ladders were set up, and because he used it in the Stone Cold McMahon match was when I was a kid, I popped like a big. I remember when they were hitting them through the ladders, and I was just popping as a child. I loved it. And the final question we always ask, man, is something that everybody always either struggles to answer or they can just hit it straight out of the park. So it'll be cool to see what you say. Is if you could replace anybody at any time in any match, what match would it be? What event would it be at? And who would it be? So for me, it would be I'd replace Owen Hart against Bret Hart at SummerSlam 1994 in that kind of blue cage, just because that's one of my favourite matches of all time. And I would just love to be in that. What would be your one?
What? Ooh, I've never thought about that before. I would replace Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18 against The Rock. I feel like I'd have a better match than Hulk Hogan.
You would get a ton of money, man, against The Rock at WrestleMania 18. I think that's a good call. Man, thanks for being on the podcast. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. Obviously, we've had technical issues, so we'll do like a episode 18, part 1, part 2 or something. You'll be the first person that got 2 parts, so that makes it even better for people to check in. Makes it shorter, stuff like that as well. Where can people find you? I've got your links for your Twitter and your kind of merch and stuff in the description below, but where can people go check you
out? You can find me on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. It's just Alex Kane. Again, Twitter, Alex _Kane 11. Instagram is the Suplex Assassin, and my pro wrestling tee store. If you want to go buy my merch, because you should, everybody should buy my merch anyway. It is pro wrestling tees / Suplex Island.
Yeah, man, I've got the pro wrestling tee one, so I'll get everything else added in the description below. Everybody should definitely go check your merch out because it is pretty cool. I do like some of the t-shirts. I've got my eye on them. But thanks for being on. If you wait there, I'll end the recording and I'll tell you when this is going to get uploaded and stuff like that next.
All right.